You know what it is. High Stakes Takes Podcast. Back with another spicy one. We got week 10 locks. We got week 10 props. You know what I say? Prop, lock in, drop it. Woo. Prop, lock in, drop it. Woo. And what else? We got the latest news on the injury front. Who's in, who's out, who got the COVID, who don't got the COVID, who been contact tracing. You never know. So, it's definitely going to be a spicy one. DFS value plays on the slate in every position. Make sure you aren't lacking in defense or tight end. Those are the positions that could win you the week. Say your tight end gets you 2 touchdowns. Say your defense runs a kickback, maybe takes a fumble back too. That's locking in the cash for the week. So make sure you're listening in, you're tuning in, because tuning in to cash out is nothing better. Just linked up with Anchor too. Fire. It's the best app to put your podcast on. It's easy, and it puts it on Spotify and Apple Music for you. It's beautiful. So, just linked up with them. Everything falling into place. Everything placing into place. So, throw on a vibe quick, then we'll get to it. What would you do? I put the shrimp in the noodle. All this shit, peaches and cream. So let it. So let it. Y'all, Sunday morning feeling, especially when you're coming off a spicy week of hitting. So let's get right into it. Who's in, who's out? We have a bunch of people out this week. We have Kenyon Drake. He's questionable. He's on the verge. It'll be nice to finally get him back with Chubb and finally get him back like Sanders. But it's one of those things where you really never know. Say he warms up, has a little setback, and then Chase Edwards is in there. So make sure you're tuning in. Make sure you're up to date right up until kickoff. And we'll have who's in and who's out for your live updates on the Twitter. So make sure you follow. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube. And we're just sending content. So next one, Matt Breida. He was someone who was kind of highly touted as a waiver pickup this week. You have Myles Gaskin, who's been out the past at least couple weeks. You don't know when he's returning. Maybe next week, maybe the week after. But it sucks. You go out and get Matt Breida, and then all of a sudden he's out. So that could be a scramble move. Make sure you go and look at your waiver wire. Make sure if you got to pick up someone like Gerald Everett, put him in your flex. Say you have nobody else and you can't drop anybody. I do that. You could go ahead and drop Breida if you did pick him up. Pick up Everett, and that's really in a deep league too. Like you could definitely find something better. And then if you are on your waiver wire Tuesday night and made sure you got your guys, you're locked in, ready to go. So hopefully you didn't just pick up Matt Breida, because I'd wake up Wednesday morning and be like, damn. I'd be like, damn. Come on. Come on. The next two who are out, they were out last week. Chris Carson and Carlos Hyde. They were trending in the right direction up until like Thursday. And then Thursday, Friday, they were like, all right, they're not playing this week. So DJ Dallas and Travis Homer, they're going to be in a split. Seems like DJ Dallas keeps getting touchdowns. So he's kind of a flex, low-end flex play for me. He's going to get his gonna get his carries, gonna get like a couple catches, but it's whether or not he finds the end zone in what should be a high scoring game versus the Bills. So, actually, versus the Rams, spicy. They played them last week, but this week, DJ Dallas, it's, I don't know, it's up in the air. I'm looking at my fantasy lineup right now, and I don't know whether or not to play him in my flex. Looking at somebody like maybe AJ Green to start over him versus Pittsburgh. AJ Green had a down week last week with only 5 targets, but in a game where you're going to have to put up points, and you have Joe Mixon out, like Gio Bernard, he's been serviceable, but versus the top defense in the Steelers. Burrow, what you got? What you got? Look, Cigar Burrow. What you know about it? What you got versus Pittsburgh? Let's see. And then it's spicy, because with Galladay out again, you have Amendola, who got 10 targets last week, 7 catches, solid play. I'm throwing him in there. If you could pick him up, which he is probably available, go get him. Throw him in. And another person from that game, or from that team, TJ Hawkinson, he popped up on the injury report around Thursday. And I was like, shit. In my league, you could only pick up 4 players per week. So I had already used all my ads, and I don't have another tight end on the bench. So TJ Hawk, count him in, lock him in. So he's probably going to be another serviceable tight end. Someone in DraftKings and FanDuel where you could throw him in. I think he's at 5,100 right now. Should get you a touchdown, at least 5 targets. So that's about what we're scraping for at this point with the bye weeks and injuries. It's sad. It's either that or Jordan Reed, who played 13 snaps last week, and that's risky. So next person who is out, Justin Jackson. They just put him on IR. Went completely south. You go from having Kalen Ballage just come out of nowhere last week off the practice squad after they drafted Joshua Kelly. I mean, I don't get it. So I'd stay away from Ballage and Kelly. Kelly did get 5 targets with 5 catches last week, but it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. And Austin Eckler, he should be back next week. I mean, he was eligible to return 2 weeks ago. So Anthony Lynn, he's been playing at coy on his injury. So it's really up in the air. And I wouldn't bank on Kalen Ballage or Kelly anything long term. So their deep flex play this week. Besides that, I'd probably stay away from them. Next person who ended up on IR, kind of out of nowhere, David Johnson. He's out this week, and he just picked up a concussion in the previous game. All of a sudden, concussion, misses practice, and all of a sudden Thursday, Friday on IR. Going to miss at least 3 weeks. So if you did end up getting Duke Johnson, which there was so many players available this week on the waiver wire you could have picked up, that if you didn't, it's definitely big slack vibes. Can't be slacking. Got to be out here cashing. When you wake up that Wednesday morning, you just waiver wire successful. You just like. I ended up getting Mike Davis back. That was big for me. So if you ended up seeing him on your waiver wire and picked him up, that's huge versus Tampa Bay this week. But Duke Johnson, especially like with David Johnson being out, Duke Johnson is definitely an RB2. Especially with the passing game. Versus Cleveland, where Houston is going to have to put up points because they're going to be down. Start Duke Johnson. Next person who's out, it's this player. Good name. You look at the name, you're like, shit, let me pick him up. He was a free agent heading into the year. Ended up signing with the Giants and then played, a week or 2? Didn't really do much. And then he's out. Devontae Freeman. It sucks to see him go from the Falcons, where he was like maybe a top 3 round pick in fantasy. All of a sudden now he's just a free agent in real life. Heading into the season, it's crazy. He probably will be if he doesn't like, I don't know, because you got Daniel Jones. He really in a shitty situation too, with Daniel Jones at quarterback, with good weapons around him, like serviceable, above serviceable weapons with Slayton, Shepard, Ingram. Like, it's crazy. It sucks to see where he ended up, but hopefully he could get back healthy and get out there and turn up, earn himself a contract next year. But with that, we got Wayne Gallman, who's been fine. Been fine. You could play him in your flex. He's a start running back for the Giants. Going up against Philly this week, it's tough on the ground. It's going to be tough sledding. He might get 13, 15 carries for like 50 yards. But I'm banking on the catches out the backfield, which will probably get at least 5 targets in a game where Philly should put up points with Miles Sanders back. So it's definitely a serviceable flex play. And if you got him, start him. Right? That's that East Coast accent. That's that Northeast. You got him, start him. So moving on, the big plays back. I already named Chubb and Sanders, but the plays that are in this week had a questionable tag. Jerry Jeudy, he will play, so that'll be big for Drew Lock. Hawkinson, he's in. Went over that. And Golden Tate, he's back this week. He's not going to affect Ingram, but he definitely will affect Slayton. So if you have Slayton at wideout, if you could fade him, if you could leave him on the bench this week for maybe someone like a little bit better, maybe like an Amendola, I'd definitely do that. So, and that's funny, last year, or 2 years ago, it was fucking Amendola. Do I start him or Golden Tate over in fucking Detroit? That's just funny. Now Amendola's playing that same position. And Damian Harris, this is the Sunday night game, so it gets spicy. He's hopeful to play. They're going to look at whether or not he could get a solid pre-workout in before the game. If he could get that in with no setbacks, he'll definitely play. And knowing Alabama running back, come on. Versus Baltimore, no Calais Campbell. If he plays, give me at least 60 for him. 60 in a tutty. 60 in a tutty. I'll take it. I'll take it. So that's a Sunday night game. He's hopeful. If that's your only running back, then leave him in there. But if you have other options, make sure you play the players that are playing at 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock. Make sure you have them in your starting lineup just in case Damian Harris is out and you got to scramble for a Sunday night player or a Monday night player just to throw in your flex. And that's the little things that'll help you out, because what if he is out and then you got to scramble for just one position? It kind of caps how many points you could get, right? So it's just a little mindset, making sure you're locked in on all moves, because I guarantee you there's at least 3 more people in that league that have that same mindset. So it's all about getting ahead of the people who are already ahead. And it's a grind. It's a grind, bro. 16 weeks. That shit's nothing like baseball, though. Nothing like baseball. I won my fantasy baseball league this past year. That grind is ridiculous. But same game, just on the opposite side of the ball. We got Mark Ingram. He's finally back after 2 weeks. Definitely fade Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins, he might have got picked up, or you might have picked him up off the waiver wire while Ingram was out. Gus Edwards was putting in work. Dobbins has been... I was big on him before the year, thinking he's going to come in. Mark Ingram's kind of going to be like a 1A, 1B type of combo. But Dobbins, he had a couple good games, couple good runs this year, but definitely potential. Definitely snag him late next year, but this year, with Mark Ingram returning tonight, make sure you start Ingram. He gets them carries, especially the goal line work. And then a big name that's just No star players, just on the defensive side of the ball. I seen Kyle Van Noy returning. He got activated for Miami, and that's big. Having him back, Miami's been putting the beats, putting the bully beats on these people. I love it. I love seeing Miami out of nowhere. And Fitzy, I got a lot of respect for you, man. Fitzpatrick, that man is such a professional. To come out and say what he said and say what they did to him and then still stick around and be like, I want to help Tua. Like, we have this relationship. It's small. It's not a big window of time that we have this relationship, but it's small. But it means enough to me to teach you and be that mentor. And that's different. We don't have a lot of people like that. So, and I know Tua definitely realized that. So Tua's going to be out there. It's looking good for Miami. And it's a good thing to see, especially when the Patriots are just trending down. Let's get it. Let's get it. Y'all had your reign for too long. So moving on, we got Week 10 locks and props. What do we? Prop lock in. Prop lock in. What you know about it? First game, Bills at Cardinals. This is going to be a shootout. Game of the week. And there's a couple contenders for game of the week, but this is going to be the one. Dome game in Arizona. The over-under is 56.5. Give me that. Slam the over in that game. It's going to be money. Next lock, we got Miami. 1.5 favorites versus the Chargers. Miami only being a 1.5 favorite is a close enough spread where, yeah, I'll take it to have a little bit better odds, but just to be sure, I'll take a money line. The odds are even when you bet spread, but when you shift to money line, the odds are probably at like maybe minus 130 for Miami right now, so it's not that big of a difference. I just take them on the money line just to make sure that you get the win, even if it is by a point. So I'll take them. And then the next game, Cleveland at home. Houston traveling to Cleveland, that just don't sound good. Traveling to dog pound, son. Traveling to dog pound. That shit. And I ain't talking about that. I ain't talking about that D-O-double-G dog pound. I'm talking about that Cleveland Browns dog pound. It's crazy over there. I didn't even realize that they're 5-3. Baker Mayfield has been playing awful, and this is going on for over a year now. This is on a year and a half. He's just been playing. I won't say awful, but it's horrendous. He has those games where he turns up and it's like, oh shit. Odell got hurt. He came out the second half. His body ball out 3 touchdowns. That shit make no sense. So it's kind of a wild one. But at home with the -4 spread versus Houston, I'll take that. Especially when Houston is just up and down. They got inner turmoil with Romeo Crennel. They're saying he wants to bring him back next year. There's people who don't want him back. It's not looking good for Houston. Deshaun Watson will probably leave if it continues like that. Yeah, I think he got 2 years left on his deal, on his second deal. So, and he definitely got a player option in there. Moving on to the prop bets. Amendola, 10 targets, 7 catches last week. His over-under on catches this week is 3.5. Probably so low because they're playing Washington and they got a solid defense, but those odds are sitting at -150, so it's pretty favorable that it's going to hit, and I think it's guaranteed. Over 3.5, that's nothing. So the next one, little risk in it, but it's based off the point, right? So Tom Brady last week got shut out by New Orleans. That shit was horrendous. Blew a parlay for me. How you have an over-under at 50.5. One team puts up 38 points. And that game doesn't hit the over? Fuck out of here. So, Tom Brady, his over-under on touchdown passes this week is 2.5 at +150. people are probably going to slam the under just based off last week and just based off him traveling to Carolina. This week, I think he's going to come out firing. Carolina's defensive secondary hasn't been that good. Dante Jackson banged up. Jeremy Chin questionable. It's been rough this year in Carolina, especially on that defensive side of the ball. So, Tom Brady over under 2.5. I'll take it. Give me that. And then Josh Allen in the game of the week last week put up 400 plus versus Seattle. That's ridiculous. I think he had 300 through 3 quarters, maybe even halftime. So his over under is 303.5 yards. Even odds on both sides. So slam the over in a game that should have hit at least 60 points. And that game might even hit 80. Shit, I could see 49 versus 44 type game. And Kyler, especially with Josh Allen, you got the Arizona Cardinals getting Kenny and Drake back. That's money. And then Edwards getting that time and getting that playing time. That's money for a backup running back to just come in, especially when Drake needs a rest, coming back from injury, and he could just turn up top notch. There's no coming in, there's no fall off for the second running back, and that's good. If they could balance that rest of the year, Cardinals are going to be scary in that playoffs. Always going to keep it close. And they beat Seattle this year in overtime. It's pretty even this year. Seeing the top teams just win and lose. So it's definitely going to be a good season and a good playoffs. And it'll be dope if we could see, imagine a 10-team playoff where 2 teams have the bye, and then you have 8 teams on each side, and you have 4 games. That would get spicy. I love it. So last prop bet we got. First game Tua had, only ran it twice. Probably getting used to the game flow and all that. Last week, you could see he's in the zone. He's someone who took him a week to be like, all right, this is how I have to carry myself. Last week comes out 7 carries for 35 yards. He had that 1 long carry, but as long as the carries are there, he's getting at least 5. His over-under on rushing yards is 19.5. And those odds are sitting at -120. So that's another lock. Lock in the prop. Because we prop, lock in, drop it. Prop, locking in, dropping it. Ha ha. Cash out. And moving on. The last segment. What we got? DFS values. How are we in fantasy leagues? How are we prop betting? How are we added market betting? How are we betting spreads? How are we doing all that? And then coming back and then having 3 fantasy teams. How? And then adding in DraftKings and FanDuel on top of that? Let's go. We fully locked in, son. Because guess what? It's week 10 and time's ticking. Time's ticking. Check that waiver wire. So DFS values. My quarterback this week, locked in value play, Tua. Give me Tua. That boy is a beast. The lefty, he looks fluid out there in the second game. And he's facing the 30th ranked LA Chargers defense versus the QB. So lock into it. And what should be, Miami has a good defense, but you know damn well Hubert's going to come in and he's going to throw up numbers. He's going to have at least 2 touchdowns, and they're going to be throwing it all game, back and forth. There's so many games on. I wish I had the picture-in-picture with like 4 monitors around my room. That shit would be lit. I wouldn't leave. But moving on to running back. This guy is slept on. And this is going to win you that Sunday million. Antonio Gibson. Last week, right? 9 carries. 9 or 6 carries. Kind of faded him, right? But he's coming off a week before that. 20 carries. 128 yards and a touchdown. This week, facing Detroit, who's 32nd versus the run. It's almost guaranteed that he's going to put up at least 80 yards and a touchdown, throwing some receptions. And I think he's going to get 2 touchdowns and 100 plus, but I'm just really giving you a base floor projection for him. Lock him in. Anybody who's last versus the run, who has their third quarterback in on the season, and Alex Smith, lock him in. And then moving on to wideout, this man is also slept on. In a position, shitty situation. Like, I wouldn't want to be there. They traded Hopkins. As soon as they traded Hopkins, you knew it was downhill. You're like, what the fuck are the Texans doing? It's crazy. But Brandon Cooks, someone who they got back to kind of fill that void a little bit, which can't fill a DeAndre Hopkins void. That boy is a dog in his own right. But Brandon Cooks, lock him in your fantasy lineup. 9+ targets over the past 4 weeks. That target share, that's ridiculous. 9+ targets in 4 straight weeks. Give me that volume. He's facing Cleveland where they're going to have to put up numbers. And Cleveland's ranked 27th versus the pass and wideouts. Lock him in. It's 5,600 on FanDuel. It's money. With Brandon Cooks out there, Will Fuller on the outside, you got Fells in the middle, you have Duke Johnson, you just lost your running back, and you're traveling to the where? The dog pound. You're gonna have to throw the ball and lock in Brandon Cooks for at least 10 targets. Give me 50 yards. Give me a tutty. Lock it in. Moving on to the tight end position. I locked this man in last week. He produced. What are we going to do this week? Lock him in. Evan Ingram versus the 32nd ranked Philadelphia defense versus the tight end. Coming off 3 weeks where he has 29 targets in 3 weeks. Yeah, Golden Tate missed last week, but he didn't miss the 2 weeks before that. So